Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Rees. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Peregrinati, Peregrinnatti, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Well, I'm glad you have joined me for this next episode. This week I wanted to share with you Psalm 91. From Psalm 90 through 100 are classically considered to be the Psalms of Moses. Actually, Psalm 90 begins with a song of Moses, a psalm of Moses. So, from 90 through 100 are attributed to being authored by Moses. At the same time, Psalm 91 is probably one of the more favorite psalms. And whether it's Moses or David, I don't know. It certainly is a man of God that has written it, because you can tell in the wording of Psalm 91 that it is written by someone who has been through the trials and come to understand that his only trust is, his only safety, place of trust is in under the wing, under the shadow of the Almighty. And that's exactly what the words are telling us. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. And it goes on to say that you will see things terrible, but they won't come near you. And 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, and he will have his angels bear you up so you don't dash your foot against a stone. And so there's so many promises within that psalm. Some people call it the 911 psalm. Psalm 91, starting with verse 1. I also am going to share with you a little bit of a piece of article that I wrote that will be published actually for the May issue of Masters of Health magazine. Masters of Health, I think, is what you look under if you were to search it out. I've been writing an article for them each month for, I think I'm in my third year now. And a lot of it's on the music, some of it's on I wrote some things about the I don't like to use the words, but anyway, the things that have been happening over this last year and some of the medical reasonings and such. And so trying to put a different perspective based on some of the research I've done. So anyway, there's quite a few things of interest there that you may want to check out. If you go to my Facebook page, which is Steve Rees and also Peregrinati, and then also Calming Harp page on Facebook. I usually post those up each month that they come out, so you can find me there as well. But I wanted to kind of use this session to talk about difficulties in our life, and I quoted an author by the name of Batya Bird in the article that I posted up. And she starts out with a really wonderful comment. Life's difficult challenges are not interruptions. They're what we need to compose our unique song. And her phrase, composing our unique song, really jumped out at me, since I am keen on music. And then kind of a double interest, because she titled the whole piece King David's Heart, and you can actually find that at aish.com. And it just as I began to consider some of the things I'll share this with you. Through it all, David remained our hero, fought and won many battles on behalf of Israel, and had his son Solomon build the temple in Jerusalem. But the depth and heart of David remains most revealed in his poetry-turned prayers called Psalms. In the Psalms, King David moves me because of the intensity of his experience of life, because of his honesty, candidness, rawness, and courage to expose his frailties and fears, because of his humility and yearning to be closer to his Maker in both light and dark times. He was not embarrassed to be himself, nor was he shy about his feelings. He exposed himself and then gave it all back to God. Nothing he felt or experienced was wasted. All was used to connect back to his Creator. All was sanctified through his actions. And I believe Psalm 91 is kind of reflects that. And so I actually, it's been in 3, 4, 5 years ago, I worked with Psalm in the transcribing that I do. And so the first thing I'm going to share with you on the harp is just the harp playing Psalm 91. And then I'll have a few more comments. And then I'm also going to share with you, and please be patient with me, I don't have the best singing voice, but I gave it my good old college try. So the second time through, I will sing along with using some of the words out of the Psalms. And I hope that you'll be benefited by hearing the words, not necessarily my voice. So anyway, here is the first, the harp of Psalm 91. harp music sounds like. And once again, in taking the chord progressions do not give you the speed or the timing or the loudness or softness. And so there's a lot left for the musician to interpret. But what I do is to try to take the words of the psalm and help me interpret what I think those words would be sounding like. And what I was hearing in Psalm 91 is an intimacy. They that dwell in the secret place of the Most High abide in the shadow of the Almighty. That sounded like intimacy to me, and so that would be a 3/4 timing, a waltz timing. And so that kind of how I chose to work with that one. And so here, let's take a listen to the words. And these are not the precise words as they come in the psalm, and even that would depend on what translation you're using. So, but these are some of the main thoughts of the psalm, taking those words and putting them into the verse and chorus patterns of the music. So here we go. I will dwell in the secret place of Shaddai and abide in the shadow of my God. I will say to him, you are my refuge, my fortress, in you I trust. I will not be afraid of the terror by night, or the arrow that flies by day. Your angels lift me up, and they protect me in the way and deliver me. You set me on high, you know my name. When I call, you answer me. You're with me in trouble and show me long life. In your salvation I can rest. I will not be afraid of the terror by night, or the arrow that flies by day. Your angels lift me up, they protect me in the way and deliver me. You cover me beneath your wings. You're my armor and my shield. 1,000 may fall, 10,000 more, but on me it shall not come. I will not be afraid of the terror by night, or the arrow that flies by day. Your angels lift me up, and they protect me in the way and deliver me. We will dwell in the secret place of Shaddai and abide in the shadow of our God. We will say to him, you are our refuge, our fortress. In you we will trust. once again, I'm not the best singer, but I think you were able to hear how the words and the music worked together to express what this psalm was trying to tell us about how our Heavenly Father guards us and cares for us and keeps us and takes care of our enemies. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but at the end, as we look upon it, it's a done deal. So I want to share a couple more thoughts out of this article that I wrote. Actually, most of the thoughts I'm sharing are out of what I've quoted from Bhatya's article. Once again, she said, it's interesting, I visited Shoshana and Mika Harari in Jerusalem. Mika makes beautiful carved harps, 22-string, and he's the one that gave me the idea of a letter at the base of each string carved in and playing each string representing a Hebrew letter, and then just going Hebrew letter to Hebrew letter, note to note. And that was kind of the first that got me started on this whole journey. But I had some friends with me there, and Shoshana was sharing with us, and one of the things she said was that we each have our own song to play or sing, and that our life's experiences are the forge upon which those songs are played out. So Bhatya Bird wrote something very similar. She said, each one of us has a unique song that lies deep in our soul. It is the most pure type of music that stems from who we truly are in all of our splendor and beauty, the one that reveals us completely in perfections and all. And then she continued, when we have a difficult challenge in life and experience some suffering, some of us view it as an interruption to life, a blip, but those troubles aren't distractions. They are precisely what create us. The pains and the uncomfortable parts of our story help craft our unique personality and character. The moments of distress create the peaks, dips, and special viewpoints we have. They create the flats, the sharps, and the octaves of our song. Every experience of anguish is a note that we weave together to make a song that no one else can sing. And when we sing that song back to God through prayer, just as King David did, we fulfill the spiritual purpose for the suffering that we have been given. And then a final thought, suffering, pain, and turmoil are not intermission times in our lives. They create our intricacies, depletions, accents, and twists for a reason. When we are honest with our pain and lacks and allow ourselves to laugh or cry or scream as a vehicle to come closer to our Maker, that's part of our chorus. That's part of our song that no one else can sing but us. We can transform the darkness into sparks of light. When we turn pain into a vehicle for connection with the Almighty, we invest meaning into the suffering and make it holy. God doesn't do that. That choice is in our domain. King David became King David, not despite his difficult life, but because of it. Some very important thoughts to let run around in your head for a bit. I've been, earlier this evening, I was listening to a YouTube by Jordan Peterson. And I highly recommend him if you want to really get some real deep look into how life works. He's one of the most deep thinkers that I've come across. He did an interview with Prager, Dennis Prager, and that's the one I would recommend you go to first. And one of the things that he wrote a book called 12 Steps to Life, and in that one of the steps he talks about how to bear up under difficult circumstances, to take circumstances that don't seem positive and begin to find the positive in them, and to not allow yourself to become a victim, but continue to allow everything that comes at you to lift you into a greater understanding of who you are and how the world works around you. One of the things Dennis Prager asked him how he said, many people are always asking you, do you believe in God? And so Jordan answered, he said, yeah, a lot of people are asking me that question. He said, I'm a psychologist, and a lot of people assume that I'm an atheist. But he said, one of the things in answering that question is very difficult, because if I say I believe in God, if we really get down to the bottom of that, that means that everything that God says, I must be exemplifying in my life. And he said, what an incredible responsibility that is. None of us can live up to that. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't take what our Heavenly Father gives us as instructions and say, well, we just can't do that. Because, like Paul says later on, he doesn't give us anything that we can't bear, but he gives us a way of escape through it. And so, I was challenged by what he said, because if we really believe in God, then we also believe that he knows each of the circumstances that we are going through. Not only will we attempt to live the life that he shows us in his instructions, but we also will see that he is in the middle of every single part of each event of life that's going past us or coming at us. And that's why I think the Psalm 91 is so important, is because that's what the psalmist here, whether it's Moses or David, that's what they are saying here, is dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. We will see it, but it will not come near us. We're not going to be deviated from the plan that our Heavenly Father has for us just because some bad things are going to come at us. We're not going to lose our reason to be just because we come up to an opposition. We're not going to let our faith get dumped in the gutter just because things didn't turn out the way we thought they were supposed to turn out. But rather we step back and take a bigger look at the bigger picture and come before our Heavenly Father and say, Father, I want to understand this. I want to know. I don't necessarily have to have the full explanation, but at least if I can understand that you're in charge. I wrote a little poem once. I don't know if I can remember it totally, but it's I don't know why, I don't know where, I don't know what, I don't know any of the reasons or anything, but I do know who. And as long as I know who, all of those other questions are answered. And so I'd like to suggest to you in this session that, yes, life is, right now we're having some pretty rough stuff coming at us. Things are not normal, and people are starting to say, are we ever going to return to normal? But the reality is that our Heavenly Father is not, as I've said before, not standing up on the balcony biting his nails, looking over and going, oh no, look what's happening. But rather he's, as one of the Psalms says, he's laughing because he's got a plan and it's working and he's in charge and he's not going to let go. So with that, I want to sign off, and we'll see you next week. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.